What's up, Sagittarius? Welcome to my channel, The Intuitive Teacup. I'm so excited to have all the Saggies here with me today. Welcome to the newbies. I'm so happy you stumbled across this channel, or it was shared with you. And welcome back to the subscribers. I appreciate your guys' love and support and for tuning in. Yeah, thank you so much, and welcome to everyone. So we are going to do a general message for the sign of Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I apologize if these are a little bit delayed. It was supposed to be your July reading, so it's really going to be your end of July into August readings. I was on vacation, and I just needed energetically some R&R and spend time with family, so I'm back and I'm ready to do these videos for you. So this will be a general message. That means that not everything I say is going to resonate with all the Sagittarians out there, so please do only take away messages for your best and highest good. You will know intuitively what those are. If you would like additional messages or more clarity on the things I present to you here today in this video, please feel free to check your Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs if you don't know how to do that. There will be a link in the description box below that shows you how to generate that birth chart, okay? So everything else you're going to want to know will be in that description box as well, including the decks I'm using, as well as the social media channels. I am the Intuitive Teacup on Facebook and Instagram, so please do check that out if you are interested. And other than that, we're going to hop in for Sagittarius, middle of July into August, roughly. Messages for their best and highest good, please. One last deck for Sagittarius. Messages for their best and highest good. Happy summer to everybody. I hope everybody's having a good summer. It's Cancer season. All the feels. We're all up in our feels, which is interesting for you guys, for you Sagittarians being a fire sign. So hope everybody's making it through. All right. We're almost in Leo season though, so you'll have that fire back. Okay, so Sagittarius, your first card is Self-Worth. Love it. Beautiful card. Being clarified by the Knight of Bees, so this is the Knight of Swords. Gemini energy. So this is going forward confidently, knowing your self-worth. It's funny, Leo just kind of had a similar reading that had to do with their self-worth sort of being a little bit knocked and having to get over this kind of self-isolation period of recognizing their value, and I'm sort of sensing that here too. For some of the Sagittarians. Some of you may have been clinging on to an old pattern of behavior or way of thinking, or even a way of feeling about yourself. But I just want to be clear, it was more negative self-talk or self-beliefs, and you were holding it close to you almost as if it were truth, but it's not. And something has awakened you to that. You're finally coming into your power and marching forward the way the Knight of Swords does, and swords being air energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but it's thoughts, it's ideas, it's mental energy, it's things we know to be true. And the Knight of Swords is the fastest moving knight in the deck, right? He just goes because he knows it to be true. Something about this, I'm just getting, it's like you're being relieved of burdens and releasing things that don't serve you and moving very triumphantly forward. You may have a lot of air in your chart, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Or you may have been dealing with someone in the past. Very interesting. But it's very positive energy. And then you have the Seven of Wands. So here's some Leo energy, that fiery energy. This is fighting the demons. This is conquering, or I want to say climbing the... climbing the mountains that you never thought you could climb. It's coming into your power, and it's just like this, I got this mode. Sometimes this can be a card of self-defense in a lower vibration, but I'm actually getting, for you Sagittarius, this is a high vibing card. You're finally recognizing your self-worth, and this child essentially behind this woman who she's deflecting off any people or things that don't serve her, that are coming at her with sort of negative vibration. You Sagittarius, male or female, this is you blocking that off and protecting your inner child, your innocence, and something that you hold very dear to you. So it could be a person too, if you're already in an established relationship, and maybe that relationship has been going through some trials and tribulations, you finally decided that either it's worth holding on to or something about it. You're blocking the external factors out. You're protecting yourself confidently, though. Again, it has to do with that self-worth. And I think you're staying committed to this idea. If in the past you've sort of been fluctuating of, well, I want this, but do I really deserve it? And, you know, I like this person, they don't treat me well, but maybe I'll stay with them anyway. You're kind of done with that. I think, yeah, you're stepping into your power and your confidence in your own inner truths and beliefs. It's like powerful energy. I really like it. So you also got the card of dissipating. Yeah, things that were keeping you stuck, or just not allowing you to progress forward if you were stuck in the status quo of things. I think you're finally recognizing it and you're waking up. It's almost like sort of getting like a rebirth of sense here. You've finally decided to like change your channel, to change the station, because whatever you were thinking or believing about yourself, it was just kind of numbing and keeping you in this, again, the status quo. You weren't going after anything or doing anything different, but where you were at wasn't making you happy, or something about it wasn't fulfilling, or even to a higher degree, like incapacitating you. So that is what's dissipating. You're finally being woken up. It's like, come on, Sagittarius, focus. Like, this is your life. Get it together. And I think you guys are. All of a sudden, you're fighting again. You're back out there on like the battlefield, fighting for what you believe in, for what you want, going after that job that maybe you were too scared to before. Also deflecting yourself against toxic people in your life who are trying to like penetrate your walls type and maybe mess with your head and play games with you. No, like, you're in battle mode. You're double confirmation here. You're in battle mode. You're not putting up with that anymore, and you're fighting for yourself, your self-worth, loving yourself. It's really beautiful energy. Good for you, Sagittarius. All right, you also have the card of honesty. All right. More kind of Leo energy. 2 and the 6 come to the 8, which is the card of strength. Being honest with yourself is what's coming through with that, as well as the 7 of Bees, okay, which is the 7 of Swords. Here, what I'm getting is sometimes there is a temptation to go back to old patterns of belief. Again, it has to do with yourself, about questioning if what you desire and want to go after is valid, or if you truly deserve it, or even questioning, is that what I want? Like, maybe it's just a pipe dream. Maybe I'm not living in like the real world. Maybe it's never going to be a reality for me. With the 7 of Swords, sometimes it's the liar, cheater, thief card, but it's ultimately someone who's collecting swords, and it's like they're fleeing the tent, but they're looking back. For you, it has to do with you moving on confidently with these new thoughts of, yes, I'm worth it, I deserve this, and moving on and not having to be questioning if you're going to get caught or how people are going to perceive you. Maybe you're worried it's going to appear selfish if you go after what you truly want, if you're honest with yourself. Something about that, it's giving you a little bit of mental hesitation. But again, there's a need for you to drive forward confidently, like Knight of Swords, fast. Could be dealing with an Aquarius in your life. You may have strong Aquarius in your chart. So then you also have the 4 of Swords. So this is the card of rest and meditation. Again, more air energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You have a decent amount of air. So again, that's strong in your chart, or there may be people in your life that are heavy with air in their chart. The 4 of Swords is important because it comes after the 3 of Swords, which is the card of heartbreak and sorrow and pain, depression, or even on a lesser scale, something that's just uncomfortable. Something that, yeah, it just doesn't make you feel good. It's mental energy, but it can be heartbreak as well. So this is what comes after. This is like the recuperation process from that. I think you guys are already in this process. And so when you do have feelings of self-doubt, of if I take this new path, what's going to happen? Do I deserve this? Should I really go after it? This is reminding you to like stop and take a breather, and like you're clouding your judgment and thought by having too many thoughts, if that makes sense. It's like you're so stuck in your head about, is this right, is it not? This is like, Sagittarius, just bring it down, just calm down, focus on you. The answers are all right there. It's just up to you to take the time to check in with yourself. That's what I'm getting here. I think you've done a lot of work on yourself. Again, some of you have maybe been recuperating from a really difficult time. The answers you seek have always rested within you. I'm getting it doesn't come from an external source. Sorry, Sagittarius, my camera froze. So what I was saying here is, you're worried about the people externally in your life. You're worried about what they're going to say or think about you. But you don't need to be worried about that. You need to focus on your own inner truth and be honest with yourself. If you're at all uncertain about the path to follow next, or where to go next in your journey, meditate on it, rest on it. You don't need to rush into anything. But it's kind of interesting energy, because I think there's a large part of you that wants to, with this Knight of Swords, charge forward. And so I think with that, it's like, sometimes you do possess that fire energy where you go because it's your passion. Something in your soul calls you to just go. You're driven. Kind of Knight of Wands energy, right? But it's more on a mental plane. It's almost like when you go that fast and maybe you haven't been doing that a lot, it's new and it's exciting, but then it also provokes fear in you, so that you start questioning every little thing about it. It's like you start lacking self-confidence again once you get too far ahead of yourself. So yeah, this is reminding you to like take it day by day, take it a step at a time, check in with yourself. You also have the card of grief. Yeah. So there again, because it's following the Three of Swords, there has been something in your life that it still pops up and it tugs at your heartstrings emotionally. But what I'm getting from this is that whatever this grief process has been, yes, you need to take your own time to deal with it, but you cannot allow whatever this is to you, right? And I think it's going to be individual for everyone out there, but you're going to know whatever you've been struggling with and that's been causing you grief, the loss of a person, of maybe a dog, an animal, the loss of a job, something that has been very taxing, weighing on your heart heavily, that cannot stop you from going after what it is that you desire in your life, in your life path. And it can't cloud your judgment about your inner truth, right? About what you're supposed to go after. And strangely enough, this has been impacting your self-confidence and your self-worth. Don't use this as a crutch or as an excuse of why you can't, again, triumphantly and swiftly move forward into whatever it is that you want and desire, what you want to fight for. Sometimes this is popping up, I'm just getting as like an easy excuse as to justifying why you're not making better progress. And I don't mean that in a condescending or judgmental way. There's no judgment here, but I have to read what's popping up. For some of you, again, whatever this loss in your life has been, you've been using it as a crutch. I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't want it to sound like I'm doing this to you. That's not it at all. But just check in with yourself. If that sounds like your story, don't do that anymore. Grieve, right? Do the healing work. That's what this card is. Do the healing work. But it's a healthy way of coping, right? It's not falling back on excuses of, well, I can't do this because it's sort of like, woe is me. Do you get what I'm saying there? Okay. Moving on. So the next card you have is differences, okay? So this could be embracing differences among a group. Oh, sorry, I need water. My throat is dry. Sorry, guys. This could be embracing differences among a group of people or among people in your family. But this card also reminds me of the Chariot, the idea of balancing your own inner dark and light energies so that essentially the two horses, right, pulling the chariot forward can work in unison and drive that chariot forward. Again, movement, progression, victory, very much Knight of Swords energy. That's sort of what this reminds me of. Some of you might feel like you have always been different. You may struggle to relate to people, or you feel like when you speak your mind or express yourself in some capacity, it's not always received in a good way, you may feel like people misinterpret what you say, or that you just feel misunderstood. That's sort of what I'm getting with this. Again, that energy of worrying too much about what people think of you, as long as you are speaking your truth and being honest with yourself, that's all that's important here. So then you also have the 8 of Dragonflies, the 8 of Cups in this deck. How cool is this deck, right? I love it. This is a card of bravery. It's so great. The 8 of Cups talks about checking in with yourself and also what's going on in your life, and recognizing that, hey, like, this is okay. These cups in front of me, they're all right. They're sort of emotionally satisfying, but it's not good enough. I deserve better. That's what this 8 of Cups is. And again, it's such great energy. It's self-worth, and it's fighting for what you believe in. It's acknowledging that I can do better. I can be better, but also I deserve better emotionally. I want to feel happier. I want there to be more light in my life. I want there to be more love in my life. I want to be surrounded by people who do appreciate me and who embrace me despite my differences or my flaws or whatever. This is going after like the whole shebang, the dream come true, the wish fulfillment, right? But it's such an empowering card because you decide to do it, Sagittarius. So again, if you're kind of in this energy of, I'm worried about what people will think if I do this or do that, eventually you recognize that you don't need to be worried and playing like these mental gymnastics of what will happen in this and that, and I'm not sure about this person, what do I do about this? Because eventually you're like, oh, you know what? My heart tells me I need to go after this. It's very cool. It's such good energy. I'm happy to see that card there. Cups we know are Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. Doesn't have to be, but you may have that in your chart. Oh, wow. And then you have the 9 of Cups. So this is absolute forward progression in the arena of love and emotion and of choosing to love yourself. The idea of the 9 of Cups is wish fulfillment. Again, how we were saying the dream come true. The 8 of Cups is when you decide to go after that, right? And then the 9 of Cups is feeling that wish of seeing, feeling the results emotionally of the efforts you've been putting in to go after, like, what makes your heart sing, about what makes you feel good. And we see she's depicted as an older woman, right? So masculine or feminine. This is something that it may take, I don't want to say a lifetime, but a good amount of time to go after, right? The 9 of Cups doesn't show up overnight. It's a journey you take to go after your wishes, your dreams, your goals, right? You can't snap your fingers and yes, now I'm living the life of my dream. The 8 of Cups is choosing to go after it and listening to your heart. Tuning into your own inner emotions and your guidance of what it is that you want in life. Okay, and then you also have the card of guilt. It's so funny. All these stories are quite similar. If pieces of this resonate, that's great. If the whole thing does, that's fantastic. But I have a feeling it's going to be for different Sagittarians. This is the same thing as this. The guilt and the grief. There has been something in your life, and I'm pretty sure it representatively is your 3 of Swords, like swords through the heart. Something very heavy happened for many Sagittarians where there was some sort of grief or loss or heartbreak, right? Which is sometimes an excuse of, I'm sorry, I use the term excuse, I don't mean to sound harsh, I just have to read what's here. It's been almost like devil energy. It's been keeping you stuck from listening to your heart, of going after what you want. And in addition to that grief, there's some sort of guilt involved in it too. It's like, it's the same way this was being worried about what other people will think. If I up and move to, I don't know, California, I've always dreamed of living in California, what will my parents think? What will, they depend on me financially. They need me. So what if I choose to follow my heart? What will they think? It's guilt, right? You've been the savior in a lot of people's lives. People depend on you, maybe emotionally, financially, mentally. This could be you being in a job for 10 years, and all of a sudden you decide you don't want to be a lawyer anymore. You want to be an artist. What will people think of that? Are people going to judge me? What about the thousands of dollars I spent on law school, and now I'm saying, oh, I want to be a painter? that's not going to be acceptable to other people. There's guilt involved here too. And so these scenarios could be different, but for a lot of you, I do feel like they're the same thing. There's guilt for you involved in going after whatever your dreams and wishes are, which that's so heartbreaking for me to see, Sagittarius, because you should absolutely go after what your heart is calling you to do. Again, if it's your truth, if it's your honesty, if this thing or person is what makes your heart beat faster, what burns passion and fire inside of you, why shouldn't you go after it? And this is your answer. This is what you're telling yourself of why you shouldn't go after it, but it's just not true. And if someone is making you feel this way, then I think you need to examine what role that person plays in your life and if they should hold a space in your life anymore. Or is there a way to, what is the word? I want to say, is there a way to like seal that off into like, okay, this is my truth and this is my life, but when I deal with this person specifically, I can only tell them so much because it's going to impact the way our relationship is. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like a white lie, or that's not a great way of phrasing it. There are something, I'm just getting mother energy here. Some of you may have a really domineering mother who maybe your whole life has told you you're not good enough, or you feel like they haven't been proud of you, or this or that. Maybe there was some instance in a family dynamic where something or someone was lost or passed away or money was lost and you felt responsible for it, and so the rest of your life you've been trying to like metaphorically pay them back, whether again it's financially or emotionally or mentally. That's what this is. It's like you feel like you're a ball and chain to something or someone, and it's impacting you from going after your dreams and desires. I'm gonna pull one more card for you because I don't want to end it on that, because this person isn't embracing your uniqueness, your differences, but in a good way. The positive things that you can be contributing to the world, they're keeping you stuck. They're keeping you under this false belief, Sagittarius. The Fool, absolutely. Start again. It's a new start. It's the beginning of a new cycle. All this can be released, and the idea of movement and travel, some of you are moving on to bigger and better things, and people potentially too. The Fool is a very lighthearted, fun energy. He metaphorically just bounces right off the cliff because his heart is so light and content, right? Look how bright, and it's sunshine, right? It's shrouded in light and good energy, high vibing energy. There's no mental baggage here. There's no emotional baggage here. There's the idea of facing the unknown, facing your fears confidently, which I think you're coming into, right? Facing your fears confidently and knowing that even if you were to fall off this cliff metaphorically, you'll land on your feet. You'll figure it out. You've done this before. Like, you're Sagittarius, right? You live for new experiences and travel, right? And hard work and feeling passion in life. I just sense that a large chapter of your life has been lacking that passion and that enthusiasm and just that love of life and people and camaraderie that Sagittarians so need. And yeah, this has been a heavy reading. But your advice here is to be in that Fool energy. No matter how scary or frightening it might be, stand in your inner truth, Sagittarius, and start again. Some of you may be thinking, well, this is it for me. This is all my life isn't going to be. It's not true. It's time to start over, to start a new chapter and go after those things that you thought you never could, because ultimately, deep down, you do know it's your wish fulfillment. And there's that card that we were talking about the whole time, bottom of your deck. Don't let this rule your life anymore. Whatever that is for you, it's time to release it and start anew. All right, Sagittarius, that's what I got for you. I want to give you all a big hug. If you resonated with this, my goodness, you've been through the ringer. I can feel that. Sending you all the best. Please do like, share, subscribe if you enjoyed that video, and I will catch you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.